To everyone with a disability who were told they couldn't do it, but tried anyway. Introduction by Robert Kingett. I remember the first out-and-proud fiction book I read that included an openly gay character. Actually, this book had gone above and beyond. It was a gay utopia for me, because some of the characters are also openly trans and proud of who they are. What made this book so special to me was the fact that it was a safe space before I knew what a safe space was. The book is Boy Meets Boy by David Levithan. Growing up in Florida, I don't remember anyone encouraging me to read books with openly gay or bi or trans people in it. People loved the fact that I loved to read, but I was never actively shown any books with LGBT+ characters and themes. I had to find those books on my own. Even after I'd found them, I had to keep them in a closet with me because I knew society didn't see them as normal. I just can't shake those early years of thinking I wasn't wired the way the rest of society seemed to be, just because I am not at all sexually attracted to women. I didn't understand how a book such as The Princess Diaries by Meg Cabot was only for girls, and why I shouldn't be reading it. I didn't understand publishing's desire to keep telling stories about non-disabled, straight white men. I thought, if everybody has a story, then where are the stories about people who are black or trans or gay or disabled? If I take a minute to try to think of fictional characters with disabilities in books, my brain comes up with few options. I've read many great memoirs by disabled people, ones where I felt seen and heard because they shared my struggles, but I can't say the same thing about fiction. Boy Meets Boy by David Levithan was special to me, because it was a story involving LGBT+ characters. Nobody was overcoming their gender identity the way disabled memoirists seem to beat their disabilities on every page. I was hungry for some fun stories that just happened to have blind or visually impaired characters telling us their fictional tale of adventure or mystery. Even in the non-fiction I've read by blind people, they all seem to be about overcoming the world, not just living in it while experiencing drama or romance. The protagonist always had to overcome blindness or learn how to be blind. The characters always saw the blind protagonist as either strange, scary, helpless, super gifted, flawless, ignorant, clumsy, or unable to function. The memoirist would have no choice but to prove them wrong about their blindness. It made me exhausted trying to find books by disabled authors where the visually impaired protagonist just had to deal with the plot of the story, not their blindness and the plot at the same time. As an openly gay man, I'm witnessing in real time the progress publishing is making towards telling LGBT+ stories. LGBT+ is moving away from a genre label, and characters are just LGBT+, which is great. I feel honored watching that growth. As a blind man, though, I'm afraid I'm not seeing the same progress with disabled stories. More times than I'd like to admit, I've Googled fiction books with blind characters. The results are not promising every time. I go to page 4 or 5 of the Google search results, hoping I'd find a golden egg somewhere, but the results are disappointing. For one thing, a lot of books featuring visually impaired characters are written by sighted authors. While I don't necessarily have a problem with this, I keep running into stories that are inauthentically told because a sighted writer always shows a visually impaired character dictating to their phone without using a screen reader, for example. One exception I can remember is a book called WWW Wake by Robert J. Sawyer. In that book, the protagonist uses a cane properly, uses a screen reader with the keyboard for a long time on the page, and is just a smart blind girl who is dealing with the plot. Even though I still go back and read WWW Wake occasionally, I'm hungry for more modern fiction featuring visually impaired characters. I know there are others out there just like me who are eagerly seeking books that have people like them on the page. That's where this anthology comes into play. This anthology features blind and visually impaired authors telling their own stories. Some authors are emerging authors, Some are more established, but they all have something to show you about being low vision. There's a wide range of writing styles, genres, and even character archetypes in this anthology. Not every story will have a happy ending. Not every protagonist will be nice. That's the point, though. This anthology compiles snapshots of blindness to show that blind people can be witty, blind people can be crude, blind people can be whimsical, blind people can be clever or brash.